Hi, Brigida Cook here. I am really excited to interview my friend Dora today, and she has been married almost 40 years. She has seven grandchildren, she has multiple kids, and she has just gathered a lot of wisdom over the years about staying more organized. So I know we all can get annoyed but need help with that. So I'm going to bring her on here share a little more about herself and share the tips that she has gathered over the years. So I know she's connecting. Um, there's Dora. Hi,
Hey,
Dora.
hi.
Oh boy, I struggle with the technical here sometimes. So yeah, I was just telling everyone a little bit about you. So would you like to share more about yourself?
Absolutely. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Well, my husband and I have been married for over 39 years. It's it seems like a long time, and then sometimes it seems like
Yeah.
yesterday. But we had three kids, and so now we have three adult children, two daughters-in-law, and seven amazing grandkids. Our oldest one is 17, and our youngest one, most of them go between the ages of 3 and 10 years old. So we had a really big, long length where we just had one little one for the whole time. But my kids, when they were really small, were really close in age. I had a 3-year old, a 15-month-old, and a brand new baby. So it was a little crazy. But my husband was in the military, which meant he was on submarines. So he was gone a lot of the time that we were when I had little ones, which meant I was alone a lot of the time. So and when I first had my youngest one, um, we moved to a brand new location. So I was starting all over with a 3-year-old, a 15-month-old, a brand new baby, and a brand new location with no family and no
Oh,
friends.
that's a lot.
So it was a little crazy. So I laugh at all my friends because I'm like, you know what? I had to stay organized in order to really make sure that that I could live through the chaos and keep my sanity.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I can't even imagine like, some of us, everyone is in, a different stage of life or has different, whatever it is, the age kids. So that's crazy. Like you didn't have the help, you didn't have your husband, and all the kids were so close. So you literally had to stay organized, like you said. Yeah. Oh boy.
I did. It took a lot. But you know what? I learned so many lessons during that time. And those are lessons we still practice today.
Yeah.
Um, even
I'd love to hear more about like just for like one of your first tips. I know you're sharing like four big ones, like how that looked like for your household, what that meant.
Well, in the very beginning, I learned early on, and it was really funny because I had never worked outside the home, but I was, a stay-at-home mom. We ran our house like a business. Um, and I just did that because I thought, these organizations, they're huge. The military runs like a business. Everything runs like a business. So that's the way we set up our home. We set up in that same thing. My husband, we used to laugh all the time that he was the CEO and the figurehead because he was gone all the time. So, he was like the one who set the vision for the family and he set the direction for the family. And I was the chief operating officer. I'm the one who directed how we implemented his vision for the family. And that's kind of the way that we set it up. We set it up to where everybody in the family had a role to play. We all had tasks to do. We had we called them processes and procedures because we really wanted to get our kids thinking that way, even when they were really young. So we had rules. We had a certain way that we did things, and I taught my kids early on, how to follow those rules. And, we lived off of allowances and checklists and consequences for breaking those rules. We gave the kids, I gave the kids chores to do to match whatever age that they were at. I had to learn at a very young age, and I had to teach my kids at a very young age that they really had to do things for themselves. When you have an infant and you have a 3-year-old, you can't always run and get that drink for the 3-year-old when they want it. You have to teach them to be patient. Just be patient. I'll get to you. Let me finish nursing, and I'll get to you in 15 minutes.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
It was crazy, but we did those type of things. So, we just ran our house like it was a business.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love the analogy too. I think that's a good image for people to think of too if they're just trying to like get more organized in their home. Oh, and so for like another tip you have, so what about just like messiness in the home or clutter? What do you do with that?
You know what? It was, and I always had a house, and I'm a control freak, but I'm also a clean freak too. But I'm not the kind of clean freak that, there's never any dust in the house or everything is always perfect. But I'm always ready for company, and always ready. And that's the way we taught our kids. Always be ready for somebody to walk through the door. My husband, on top of being in the Navy, is also a pastor. So it could be at any given time where we could end up with company. People needing things and knocking on the door. And we always had to be ready for that. It didn't matter how small the kids were. We always had to be ready for company. So, I taught my kids to clean as they go. We had the kind of playroom, and I still do with my grandkids. When you're done playing with the toy, or when you're done doing your puzzles or whatever we're done with, we put it away before we get another toy. Because I found when the kids were really young, that they played better when all the pieces to the parts were all put together. They have lots of fights when things aren't put together, and they're trying to find it or get to it. Even little ones can get stressed out when they work on a puzzle and they can't find all the pieces to the puzzle, or they're working on their stacking cups and they can't find all the stacking cups of all the different colors. So, I learned with the kids that it was much better to play as they go. So we tried to keep the mess in the play area because, a lot of play areas that you walk into, and I learned this from watching the older, not my kids, but other kids when they would go to school, everything was always put away. Well, there's a reason why they're always put away. And when you walk into centers with little ones, that all the things are organized and put in places. Kids play better. They play much better. The other thing I learned is to have a place for all the junk. We have like even today, I have a craft room. And guess what? It is the place where all the junk is collected. If the little ones are putting things away, have them put them away in one place always. So then when you lose things, guess where they're always going to be?
In that place.
Always going to be in that place because you've taught them, like if they're helping to clean up the table or they're helping to clean off the coffee table and you say, oh, can you help me pick up the coffee table? If you've taught them to always put all the junk in one area, then they're always putting it in the same place. But if you tell them, can you go put this on mommy's bed? Can you go put this on your bed? Can you go put this in the bathroom? Or can you go put this here? For little ones, they may not get it to the right place. So if you always want to find your stuff, always put it in one place.
No, that's really smart. And I think it's helpful to know, even like, I know you better how organized you are, that you still have one of those rooms, because I feel like we always feel so shameful about that we have that one space that you don't want to go into.
Always have that one space. And then the other thing I always make sure, clean that space once a month. Put it all away. Just say, this is going to be my time where we're going to tackle the craft room, or we're going to tackle this room. And that way you'll find all the things that you've been missing.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And then like more in general about time and like your day. Like what did that look like with scheduling? How do you do that?
You know what? I ran, and still to this day, I run on a schedule. Our coach, Coach Fryer, he always says, you don't manage time, and I learned that from a very young age. That 24 hours. There's only 24 hours in the day, but guess what? There's only 24 hours in a day. And so you're not ever going to put more hours in a day. It's just not going to happen. So learn to manage the activities in the day and not time itself. Because time's going to come and time's going to go. You can't stop time. But what you can do is manage the activities around that time. I had times where I scheduled what days I did which parts of the laundry. Because with little ones and with a big family, even with a small family, even if you're by yourself and you're an individual, everybody has to do the laundry. We don't have enough clothes to make it through 365 days.
Yeah.
I have enough clothes with the kids to make it for 2 weeks. Okay? And really, when they were really young, and while we were in the military and didn't have any money, I had enough clothes to make it through probably 7 full days of changing, maybe every other, not where they had where I could go if I had to 10 days, but because there are two things you want to do. Don't, get so many clothes that you can let clothes pile up for 2 weeks and not do laundry, because then it becomes overwhelming and hard to catch up. So we had enough clothes to wear, especially with the little ones, that, I had to do laundry on a regular basis. So I scheduled what days I did laundry. I did sheets on maybe Monday, whites on Tuesday, towels on Wednesday and Friday, because, you always go through a lot of towels, especially with the little ones, baby clothes happened on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I had specific days that I did that. And I also made sure that, when it came to dishes are those kind of things that get so overwhelming. Rinse your dishes as you put them down. Because if and then it's not as hard to do the dishes when everything's all rinsed up. So we taught our kids that when they were little. Look, don't put a plate into the sink. Rinse the plate first. And teach your husbands to do that too, because they are some of the worst culprits ever of leaving things in the sink, Rinse it out, because then it makes doing dishes a lot easier. And I didn't go to bed at night until I did my dishes. Because it's horrible. If you wake up the next morning, dishes can be overwhelming. And then how are you going to do your dishes when you have little ones that have to be taken care of? So I did them when they went down for naps. Down for nap, I did the dishes, because dishes are the things that you always have to do.
Yeah. True.
And also, laying clothes out the night before the next day, especially if you have to plan, like going to church on Saturday night. All the clothes were already laid out. Everything needed for church was already laid out, so that in the morning, and things are going to happen. They're going to spill the cereal all over the floor. And they're just things that are going to happen. Be ready for those things to happen.
Yeah, no, that's a good tip. I only have one so far, but still, right? Like getting out of the house early in the morning is tough. So, yeah.
It is really hard. And I know that I knew exactly how long it took us to get ready to go, if nothing happened.
Right. Oh, boy. So I know you just had one more tip you were going to share, Dora. So what would you say to moms that are feeling like isolated or overwhelmed, like they just can't get a handle on all this stuff?
You know what? Sometimes we are alone, but there are over 3 billion people in the world. You're really not alone. Sometimes we just need to ask for help. And I had to learn how to do that. It honestly takes a village. It really does. It is hard to raise kids all by yourself.
Mm.
And you need to ask for help. I had to understand what I could do and what I couldn't do, and limit those things to what it was hard to go grocery shopping. So I learned how to make some friends. Even though I was alone, I really wasn't. I had a whole family in the military of, Navy friends. And so I learned how to make friends with those wives that were on the submarine.
Mm.
I learned who my neighbors were. And we shared, like as a young military family, we didn't have any money. And so I couldn't pay for babysitters.
Mm.
So we learned how to share. You go grocery shopping, I'll watch your kids. You
Mm.
watch my kids, then I'll go grocery shopping. I need a break because I'm exhausted and I need to take a nap. You know what? You might need to run errands. I'll watch your kids, you watch my kids. Find people that can help you if you don't have family.
Mm.
Um, you know, uh, I learned after a while that it was okay for me to go visit my mom while my dad was out, or while their dad was out to sea.
Mm.
And so I would save up as much money as I could, or I would have my husband drive me down to either my folks' house or his folks' house, and we would spend 2 or 3 weeks while he was out to sea, where I could get some relief. As we get older, when we lived in Hawaii, it wasn't easy to, go visit mom and dad to help because we lived so far
Mm.
away. And there were yards that had to be mowed. I learned to, pay cheap, pay the kids in the neighborhood, the older kids in my neighborhood to come and do my yard.
Smart. No, that's awesome.
Or, you know what, even if you need to earn some money or you need help doing chores around the house, learn to share your time. Look at what you can do. And watching kids, I was going to be home anyway with my kids. I'll tell you, some people need help watching their kids.
Mm.
And instead of doing it for money, I did it for chores.
That's awesome.
So learn to find help. And that is probably one of the biggest ones, is learn to find help. And, along with that is really manage your self-care.
Mm.
Take care of yourself. Because your kids they needed me to be the best mom I could be. I couldn't do that if I wasn't also taking care of me.
Yeah.
There's a reason why when you fly in the airplane, they tell you that if something happens, put the mask on yourself first before you put it on your child. You have to take care of yourself. And that is probably one of the most important things about being organized. You want to leave, you've got to learn to deal with your stress. And, so find simple things that will help you to deal with your stress. Sometimes you need to, share and have a friend watch your kids while you take a bath.
Mm.
And just relax. It is okay to do those kind of things. It's okay to sit down. It's okay to take a nap while your kids take a nap. Of course, after you do the dishes.
Right. Oh, you crack me up. Oh, yeah. No, these are some awesome points, Dora. Yeah, definitely important to be okay asking for help, or, if we don't have family nearby, or husband travels for work or is away in the military like yours was, just try to find friends or local neighborhood kids or community, which, yeah, that can even be tough for people, but you have to put in a little work and find that help in community. So thank you for
You really do. Yeah, you really do. And it's, I found that there are other people out there who struggle. And sometimes we just don't need to, we don't know where to go. Make friends.
Yeah.
Make friends. That's some of the important stuff, is really make friends. So really, run your house like a business. And it really helps when your kids get older if you have done that. All of my kids now, when they go to work, they understand processes and procedures.
Mm.
They understand how to do checklists at work. They understand how to do their role at work. If you teach your kids early on to do that, they'll be much better in the workforce. Much, much better. And, really keeping areas cleaned up. If you do it in the short period of time, it'll be much better in the long period. You won't have to take as much time. It won't be so overwhelming. Block out time and remember that you're not alone. Those are really some of my most important ones that I still live today
Yeah.
because I got, 7 grandkids and I take care of them every single day, Monday through Friday after school and the little ones before school. I get them all. My daughter and I take care of them before they go to preschool. So it's grandma's job to teach them all their letters, shapes, and everything. So sometimes I will have 7 to 11 kids here in a day. So we still do those same things.
Wow. It's impressive, Dora. Wow.
It's easy to do these things.
Yeah. Yeah, so you still have to stay organized even though your kids are grown. So, well, thank you for sharing all of this. Thank you for everyone who's listening and trying to just get more organized. I know for me, it's always perpetual. I'm always working on it. So, Dora, if anyone is looking to see what you share about organization, faith, your family, where can they find you or follow you?
In Facebook under Dora Edmondson. They can follow me there. I just give these kind of tips. It's funny. I think, my kids are always so funny. They're like, Mom, you think you know everything? And I'm like, no, 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 no. I just like to share what I do know.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for your wisdom. I mean, I always appreciate it too. So thanks for chatting today, Dora, and I hope you have a nice Friday.
Thank you for inviting me. You too. Have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Bye.
Bye-bye.